Hey there! Welcome to week 21 of me living on the property. So, every time I say that, it just makes me grin because on one hand, it's like, oh my God, it feels like forever. And on the other hand, it feels like I just arrived yesterday. So, as you may or may not be able to hear, there is rain happening on and off. So, Gracie and I are just going to try to power through the rain and hope that it doesn't rain so hard that I have to shut the camera down for fear of damaging my phone. So, let's talk about all the things that have gone on this week. There have been a ton of really great firsts that have happened this week. Um, I really think now I have the Wildflower Garden pretty balanced out. I got a few more plants to put in there just to kind of balance out colors and the spacing and make sure that I have enough, uh, enough to attract various wildlife that I am interested in being able to provide a service for. So the butterflies, the bees, the birds, the hummingbirds. I now have a couple of orchids out there. Those are just completely for my pleasure. I love orchids. So I have them now hanging in their wooden baskets from trees. And I have two hummingbird feeders, which I will continue to figure out what I need to figure out with that. One of the first was that I had a couple of hummingbirds that were humming around the feeders. They make this extraordinary noise. It's like a zzz with their wings flapping so quickly. So there was that happening, and but they're not flocking to it. So I don't know if that means something, doesn't mean something. I haven't quite figured it all out yet. And as you can see, here's the rain coming in a little harder again. So there was that. But the big first that happened in the garden was I had a bird couple. Now, I'm just guessing that it's a couple because they arrive together, they stay together, they fly away together. And there is one that is very pretty with blue on its feathers, and one that's a little plainer, which is the male is the pretty one, and the female is the a little bit plainer one, because of course in the creature world, men have to do some males have to do something to attract females, which is very interesting. But nevertheless, there's a couple that shows up, and they have been paying particular attention to the pink and purple birdhouse that I've had up there for months now. And they fly in. The male one hangs out, kind of keeps guard on the branch, and the female is bringing things that look like twigs and moss, as if maybe she's building a nest inside. I'm guessing at all of this, of course. And she does her work and she flies back and forth, and then they both leave together and then they come back again. So there's another video out there. If any of you can tell me what kind of bird that is, that would be fabulous, because I'm not sure. But that was a first, and very, very exciting in the world of this garden that I love looking at. To think that, there might even be a home out there, not just a lovely place for all the flying creatures to visit. All right, the other first that happened this week, the gopher turtles have continued to kind of saunter back and forth of the deck, and they go from their burrow, this one particular burrow that's over here. Now, they've got other burrows on the property, and as you know, I've distinguished about 5 or 6 different ones on the property, but this little smaller tortoise has been coming across and really enjoying having brunch, lunch and brunch over here in the grass area, and then goes back. So yesterday I had left the property for a little bit, and when I returned, I pulled up and got out of the Jeep truck and started walking and noticed there were two gopher tortoises out and about. I have, for the entire 3 years that I have owned the property, and you know, for most of, well, now it's 3.5 years. But for most of that time, I was only coming here on Sundays, so I had a random sighting. Now I'm getting to see the tortoises, you know, a lot more frequently, but I've never seen two of them out and about in a particular area at the same time. That was extraordinary. You know, because sometimes my head plays games with me. I'm like, maybe it's just one tortoise that you keep seeing and thinking that it's different tortoises. No, no, no. Proof happened this week. There were two distinct tortoises, one about 3 times the size of the other smaller one that I've been seeing quite frequently over here. So that was very, very exciting. Okay, the other stuff in the big garden, the tomatoes and the eggplant are going nuts, like just nuts. The eggplant are now, you know, they're kind of looking more like eggplants, bulb-shaped, purple, and the tomatoes in some of the other videos, I've shown you that I have one tomato in particular that fits in the palm of my hand. It's a good size tomato. So that part of the garden is doing tremendous. Everything over there, actually, the snap peas, the peas, and then I have a bed with bush beans. I have some contender bush beans and some Antigua bush beans over there. And this first that happened is that I did my first harvesting. So I actually picked beans, some of the contender beans, and then I came over here to the kitchen garden, which is doing fabulous too. It has a lot more herbs and peppers and things like that over here. It also has tomatoes and eggplant that are doing well, but a lot more herbs and stuff growing here. So I came over here and I picked both purple and green basil. And I made myself my first dinner from the garden, which looked like that I took the beans and you know, I kind of boiled those for a little bit, kind of blanched those for a little bit, and cut those all up, and then I sauteed them with the basil in a little olive oil and a little bit of garlic, and that was garlic powder. I'm not growing garlic at this time, although I will be. So garlic, onions, I need other things growing in the garden when it's time for them. But some garlic powder, some black pepper, a little Himalayan salt, and I put all of that over some jasmine rice that I added a little bit of almond milk to. Just let me tell you, it was delicious. And it was even more delicious because this was all fresh from my garden. Well, not the rice, but the veggies were all fresh from my garden. So I am very excited now about what comes next. And yesterday afternoon, that big tomato, it actually, when I went to touch it, it fell into my hand. So I said, thank you. And now I asked Lauren, what do I do with this? Did I kill it? I wasn't ready for it to be harvested yet. She assured me that everything was okay. She assured me that I could put on the windowsill and let it continue to ripen a little. so that I can still make my fried green tomatoes. That's what's next here, fried green tomatoes. But at least have it, have it just be a little bit riper so that it's not bitter at all. So that will be coming next. But first harvest and first first food meal from my garden. So those were really, really big first to have had happen. So lots of things going on here on the property. Then I have a story to share with you because, you know, I, you know, I actually think that I'm pretty good and pretty friendly with people. I'm that kind of person that I will smile at you on the street or hold the door for you at the grocery store or thank you if you do something for me. I'm that kind of person. My mama brought me up with a lot of Southern manners, which I have retained because I think it's nice to be respectful and kind with others. Um, and so mostly wherever I go, people are pretty good with me because I'm pretty good with people. And and then there are these moments that are just kind of extraordinary where I'm like, wow, that was incredible. So here's the incredible thing. Um, last weekend, I had gone out to run some errands. I had a couple things that I needed to pick up at the grocery store, and the closest local grocery store is a big box store, Publix. And they do have some organic stuff there. And I had gone in to get almond milk creamer and some organic stuff. Anyhow, I went there. I also got reverse osmosis water from the water machine. I left. I did my other errands. I went to pick up the mail that some of my mail is still going to the post office box. I went to pick that up. I got gas. And when I went to get gas, I noticed that my debit card that I normally use wasn't in my wallet. And I thought, well, it's probably, it's probably in one of my pockets. It's probably here somewhere. Um, I pulled out another one of my business debit cards, used that. And then um, I forgot all about it. Then yesterday, what happened was I remembered it and I got a little like freaked out. I was like, oh my God, I checked all my accounts. Nothing had been charged on anything. I figured it was still somewhere within the truck, my, my clothes, the house. I checked all those things multiple times, didn't find it. And then I thought, oh my God, this is such a nightmare because now I'm going to have to go to the bank on Monday morning and I am going to have to order a new card. And I use my debit cards to pay bills, all all kinds of things that I use that debit card for. I don't use credit cards for any daily usage whatsoever, and I don't really like carrying cash around. So that's how that happens. Um, but I knew that it was gonna mean a lot of work. I was gonna have to, um, cancel a lot of the places that the credit card was being ongoingly utilized. And I thought, well, let me just take the long shot. And I did. I went to Publix and went to the customer service person and took the long shot, called, "Hi, this is a long shot, but since this is the last place I used my debit card and I've lost my debit card, I thought I'd check with you." So the woman there, really gracious, really kind, she said, "Let me go check." And she grabbed a key and went running off to what looked like an area where maybe the offices were. And about 5 minutes later, she comes back out the door and she's looking in my direction, and I'm looking at her, with my stay cool, stay calm, hopeful look on my face. And she holds the card up in the air and swings it like this. And then, of course, we got to high five, and I got to thank her, thank her, thank her, thank her, thank her for checking. And lo and behold, somebody turned my card in. Now, whether it was a Publix employee or, because I don't know where I lost it. Maybe I left it in the water dispensal machine. Maybe I dropped it on the ground outside or between there and the Jeep. I have no idea. But somebody found it and turned it into the office. And that's the miracle piece of the story, is that I just I'm just like, I felt so blessed that someone had done that. That someone actually, in this world where everybody seems like they're whatever they are, and what I hear a lot about is about how, horrible people are and this and that and the other, that when something really great like that happens, um, it's the being grateful for it. So I'm very, very grateful. I'm very, very grateful. I'm grateful for the person that turned it in, and I am grateful for the woman at Publix who actually didn't blow me off. She actually went and checked and took her time to find it wherever it was back there, and had me present my ID to prove that I was me, and sign that I took it and walk out with it. Yep, that was a big deal. I like big deals. Big deals are fun. It's always nice to notice when our brains have a succession of things that they talk about, like talking about people in general, and then something proves it all wrong. That's great to me. So that is it for this week. We have we have continued to do everything that we needed to do, and now you know that we're having some new first here on the property. And now it's time for Gracie and I. You ready? Hi, yeah, you ready? It's time. It's time to give them some wishes. Let's give them some wishes. Let's give them some wishes. So, Gracie and I, we wish you freedom for yourself and your life. Tons and tons and tons of freedom. Free yourselves up. Free yourselves up from your past, from your thought patterns, from everything that you have control of that you can free yourself up from. And believe it or not, freedom, the way of being a freedom, you have control over no matter what is going on. So take that and run with it. And then we send you love, Gracie and I. We send you tons and tons and tons of love from our little hearts to you and those you love. So please do take that love. Know that you're loved. We may be strangers to you, but love is love. Know that there's love out there. And then thirdly, peacefulness. We send you peacefulness for yourself and your life. So let that guide you through the upcoming week. And Gracie and I will see you again soon. Okay, bye.